Right, everybody. So good to be with you guys. Great to be with you. In fact, I couldn't tell you how this morning I've got so many fun things back in regards to purpose. And so we're going to just continue down that pathway of how we're going to work through purpose and how we're going to work through our the setting of our intentions. And I want to take that just a whole step further. So I know that it'll be coming out later. I would encourage you to listen or at least watch the idea in regards to just living a life of deep purpose, and that I keep sharing with people, and that is that hold on one second here. There we go. Okay, and the reason why I'm sharing this is because each one of us every single day has the opportunity and the privilege to make choices every day. So I've put down a number of notes and a number of ideas that I believe can help us today. But first and foremost, like it would be absolutely, just a bad move on my part to not thank you, one, for being on the call, but number two, just thanking all the people who are still helping our economy, our society function and flow. Some of those individuals are doing it virtually, and then some of them are, of course, the first responders right there on the front lines and who are physically doing things to make things come together. So just one, first and foremost, if you're married to one of those individuals, if they're a partner in your life, just please know how grateful we are for those that are stepping forward. And guys, just for perspective, right? This group, this listening, are what I consider to be those first responders, those people who are dead set on moving forward in their lives. And as we've been classified as essential, not out of any mockery, not out of any lightheartedness about it, is that's a serious responsibility and stewardship to be able to really move our lives with a deep sense of reasons and purpose that drive it, and making sure. So I want to make sure, one, I hope that those of you who are listening, who haven't listened to this morning's call, I would encourage you to do so. I just want to start off, though, with a few thoughts in regards to today's call. Today, I talked about sourcing our business. I talked about what to say as we're going and talking to some of those ideas in business. And then the third thing I talked about was the discipline and the action, and that our trust is shown by the activity levels that we have. So action is the provability to our trust. And trusting ourselves, trusting God, trusting our future, trusting our journey, our process, trusting a few people along the way, and truly our trust is shown by the actions in which we take. And I really deeply believe that I continue to watch people who are really stepping forward with their actions, the way in which people are serving, the way in which people are feeding even just our first responders, those who are on the front lines of everything that's going on, interacting, every single day with the public and what's going on. So it's really, really special to see what's going on. So from that standpoint, I want you to write down a question that I wrote down even today. And this is the question that I wrote down. Here you go. What are my intentions? And I want you to put a ... What are my intentions? What are my intentions? All right. So as we start thinking about that, what are your intentions? I've often talked about forgiveness, right? Our ability to forgive someone even when they don't say that they're sorry. Our ability to really easily, can almost always forgive someone when we really look and say, wait a second here, what did they really intend to do? Most people, there's very few people in the world today that really want to hurt other people. Now, you may say, oh, come on, George, that's ridiculous. There's people who really want to hurt. Not really. When you take the billions of people on this planet, there's not a lot of people. There's global beliefs of peace, happiness, joy, freedom, connection that are part of who we all are part of what we want life to be, are part of what happens on a day in and day out basis that is world global desires for these things to happen in our life. So if that being the case, then what I want to ask is, then what are your intentions? Now here's the second part before we go, and I'm going to ask you a few of these different intentions. But let me just first state this. There's going to be really three groups of people that are going to come out from this pandemic. Three. There's going to be, and we're going to talk about them just for a second. There's going to be three types. Number one, there's going to be people who are going to come out far worse than they were. I want you to think about that. People who will die, people who will economically be challenged, their health will be challenged, the relationships will be challenged. My wife and I, Jennifer, we were talking even just today, we were talking about just the number of people that we believe will have great heartache in their relationships, whether it be from a mother and a father, whether it be from siblings, whether it be just the stresses. And I love what Brene Brown, I'm not going to say it, but she said FFT. And Brene Brown, if you're not familiar with her, she's just a wonderful human being who really helps people truly figure out how to be much more vulnerable and have a much more fulfilling life. And she is just I know, a hero to many people. But she talks about this FFT recently. And what it stands for is first bleeping time, right? The first bleeping time. So when you think about that, this is a first time. This is a first freaking time for anyone to go through these things. So there's no question that, number one, there will be people who will show up when this is all said and done, and life will be far worse for them. Then there's the second group. And the second group is those who will have it where life will be exactly the same. And I know people that's where I can see they're heading. They have a little bit of economics behind them. They're doing okay financially. And for them, they're not going to do much different in their relationships, in their finances, and in their health. And so life's going to be about the same. And what I have said is that means that this whole pandemic, what an utter waste. And I say that because how sad it is that during this ultimate pandemic, that things remained exactly the same. When there was a moment to take a step back and begin to reflect and to set a new expectation, new intentions for our lives. And then there's the third, and I know you wouldn't be on this call if this didn't apply. Like, right, this is the people who are serious about moving through their lives and moving through them in a powerful and compelling way, a way that they look back and go, wow, what a time of growth. So number three is the growth, the people who will show up and with tremendous personal growth. Now here's the thing that is challenging about whether we show up worse, whether we show up the same, or whether we show up better, or that they're the people who have growth. This is the deal. This is the great challenge of this. Each one of these will require massive self-confrontation. Self-confrontation. Now, look, sometimes we get really good about confronting other people. We get really good about the demands on other people. But self-confrontation, confronting oneself, is a whole different animal to success. And look, these are, I'll tell you this, these are really easy things to talk about. These are really easy things to discuss, really easy principles to say, all right, let's all self-confront. This is the tough part, gang. These are the difficult moments when we confront from where we are to where we want to go. So you can get that gap in there in this little small screen. But it's the gap. It's the gap of being able to say, okay, this is where I am, this is where I want to go. And that gap, and the only really ultimately best way is to simply self-confront. Now, look, there's a lot of ways to confront ourselves. And you say, man, why are you talking about this? Aren't we selling real estate? Yeah, we are. We're selling real estate. But just remember, the level of real estate you sell will always be in direct correspondence to the level of personal development that goes on in your life. There's always a relationship. High levels of personal development, high levels of income. They all go hand in hand. It's crazy to see the reality check of what happens in relationship to the personal development to our income. And if you're finding your income is waning, then I would tell you to take a step back and say, okay, wait a second here. Economically, what should I be doing? What are my intentions? Where am I going? We're going to get to that in a second. Let's just stay on this idea of self-confrontation. So look, you can confront someone by yelling and screaming at them. I hear people all the time. You hear them in sports. They say they do something dumb and they'll say things like, they'll take a bad shot in a basketball game and you'll hear him, beat themselves up. They'll hammer down on themselves. They'll say things like, don't be stupid, don't be dumb. Well, you can do that. You can do that. You can do that to yourself. And there's no question in our times, I'm sure in our lives, we may have in our lives done that to another individual. The question is that really an effective way to confront? And in most cases, it's not. We all know that it's not. Not stating like how dumb someone is or how stupid someone is or how bad someone is or what are you thinking. Maybe it jars them for a second, jars yourself by speaking to yourself that way, but not long term. That's not the best way to confront. So look, the best way to confront yourself, let's just talk about ourselves for a moment. How do we confront ourselves economically, the relationships of our lives, and the health within our lives? Here's the first thing you have to do to effectively confront. And I don't care whether I'm speaking to another leader who has an army of people that they lead. Maybe it's a manager, maybe it's a team leader, but really asking better questions when we confront. That's the key. Now, here's the first question. And I started with that. And that is what are your intentions? ... Right? What are your intentions? So the key to good self-confrontation is first and foremost, to describe and to define what it is that we want. What do we intend for our lives? What do we intend to have happen? What do we intend for the relationships of our lives? What are your intentions? What are your true intentions as a parent? What are your intentions as a spouse, a partner? What are your intentions economically? What do you really intend financially to happen for you? What do you intend with your health? Maybe it's accomplish something, do something, live to a certain age. Maybe it's being able to do a triathlon, a marathon, maybe lift a certain amount of weight, maybe play a certain sport. I don't know. That's not for me to decide. I will never set your intentions. I just want to help awaken you, help you become conscious in regards to setting those intentions. Every single one of us in our lives is being driven. Every desire we have, everything we do is driven by the intentions of our heart and soul. That is the absolute reality check. Actually, I'm hearing a lot of feedback. Let me see if we've got everybody muted here. All right. Russ, if you want to make sure we're muting everybody, I'm just getting a bunch of feedback from everybody. I think you already did it. So there you go. So what are the intentions of our lives? So for every single one of us, those who are listening on Facebook, or you're on the Zoom call, it doesn't matter what industry, it doesn't matter whether I'm talking to a teenager, I'm talking to myself, talking and speaking with you, got to set the intentions. So let's get clear. Let's spend some time in each one of those areas today. All right. And I want to give you just a series of questions, right? So first and foremost, know where you're going. Second, like almost borderline and is important principle here is how do we effectively confront? We ask questions. We ask questions. So look, I just want to challenge each one of us to ask ourselves compelling questions that bring about a compelling answer. Think about that, a compelling question that brings about a compelling answer. So here's the questions. Now look, I hope truly my desire for you, my intention for you today is that you will come to a better way of confronting yourself. Number one. Number two is that you will be able to know more clearly where your life is heading. Because what I really want isn't that things are worse for you when the pandemic is done. Not that things are the same for you when their things are done, but I want them to be better than they are. Better. That's where I want you to be. I want you to be of better health, better relationships, and better economics. That's the future for every single one of us, that things will be better. Not just randomly like a quote, you get on an Instagram or Facebook and, oh, things will be better and we'll get through this. I know you're going to get through this. I know you're going to get through this. I know that. This isn't about just getting through it. This is about coming out on the other side of this far better than we were before. And that's the tough part here, gang. That's the tough part. And even when you feel like, man, do I really want to set these intentions? Do I really want to decide? And you might go to a place of fear or that place of just completely being despondent to the possibilities of your future. Don't allow that to happen. Don't allow that to happen. Break free. Stop digging in the hole. Move forward. Raise up. Rise up. All right. Rise up and set your intentions of what you want your life to be. So here we go. These questions are in no particular order, but I'm going to give you the order that I typically do them. And I have a number of other questions that I'm going to ask you in this process that I think are relevant to where you are today. All right. So I'm going to give you the big questions, and then we're going to go to some really little questions that are the kind of the baby questions that help you achieve the bigger things in your life. Right. So we're setting our intentions. These questions are about you and your future and your life. Guys, your life, your life. All right, so here you go. Here's number one. Number one question is, what is it that I am unwilling to accept any longer in my life? Guys, this is a question about things not being worse and things not being the same. What am I unwilling to accept any longer in my life? Guys, gals, all of us, there's things that we continue to accept in our lives that are not who we really are. It's not what our true intentions are. So again, defining for ourselves, what is it that we are unwilling to accept? Number two, what does my life look like? What does my life look like when it's on track? Now, look, we might want to expand that today, not just on track, but leaps and bounds above what it's been. That when there's massive growth that's taken place, what does life look like when it's exceptional? When it is like kicking on all gears? What does life look like when it's doing that? Now, I want to give you a few words here to give you a little bit of a cheat sheet here. Guys, there could never be a better time that I know to do this right now. We're going to set a clear intention. So look, here's some words. Number one, these are in no particular order, but under this, what does life look like when it's really on track, when it's exceptional, when it's dialed in, it's juiced, it's happening, it's exceptional? Here's the deal. Here's the questions. Number one, your health. What does your life look like when your health is on track? What does it look like? What does it mean to have your health on track? Okay, number one. Number two, your finances. What is your intention for your finances? Look, there's not anybody I know that doesn't wish they were not more deleveraged in their lives, right? Paid off more things, put more money in the bank. What does it look like? What's the intention? Where are you heading? Because look, you can't confront yourself effectively if you don't know where you're going. What, you're just going to beat yourself up? Don't do that, gang. Don't beat yourself up. Know where you're going. So our health, our finances, our relationships. Right? Relationships. But I want to identify a few relationships in here. So I'm going to give you more words than I normally do if you've gone through this process with me. And guys, as I've always said, I will never ask you to do something that I'm not doing myself. I'm not asking you to do something that sounds like a good idea that I just read in some book, or I went to some seminar and picked up off of another teacher. That's not where these things have come from. They have come from the fact that at minimum 2, 3, maybe even 4 times a year, I'm writing these same questions out for me, and I'm answering them for me. Because I know that if I don't know where I'm going, because of the habits, rituals, and disciplines of always trying to figure out where am I going, then I have a good chance of getting there. That's the key here, guys, is getting where you want to go, not where I want you to go, not where someone else wants you to go. Where do you want to go? All right, so relationships. So here we go. Let's go back to this. So relationships. Let's talk about the relationship with yourself. So write down yourself. Write down God. Write down your spouse, your partner, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or the one you hope to have. Let's talk about your children. What does that relationship look like? What about your parents? If your parents are still alive, what does that look like? How about other siblings? What does that look like? What are your intentions? What do you intend to have happen in those arenas? All right? That's a key component to your success, gang. That is a key component to your success. Let me take a drink here. Guys, as you move through this, I am telling you, you can set these intentions and you can dial them in. All right. How about travel and recreation? That's the next thing to write down. What does life look like? Where are you heading? Where are you going? Haven't you thought about right now, like, what were the most meaningful trips that you've gone on? What are the most meaningful places that you've gone to? What are the most meaningful experiences and memories you've created, and who were you with, and what did you do? Isn't that so great? Isn't it so great that we're able to do those things and take a step back and say, okay, what do I intend to have happen here with my relationship in regards to travel and recreation? Okay, next, let's write down, I said relationship. Sometimes I say family. So whatever that means to you, I'm just going to give you these words. How about your leadership? What does your leadership look like? What are your intentions as a leader, as a steward, not only in real estate, but your family, a steward of your own life? What are your relations? What's your intentions in regards to your leadership? All right. Next, I want you to write down your, oh gosh, well, the word's escaping me. Hold on. I'm forgetting one of these guys. Let me just look at my notes. Career. Gosh, there we go. Your career. Guys, what about your career? What about your job? You say, wait, it's not the finances? No. Keep that separate. Economically, what do you want to do? Now, what do you want to do for a place of a career, a job, a mission for your life? Big difference, gang. That's a big, big difference when it comes to that stuff, okay? All right, so next question on this list, all right? We've talked about what does life look like. Number 3, what gives your life purpose? Now, this morning, I talked a lot about purposeful lives. I want you to live a life that is purposeful. So what gives your life purpose? Let me give the question again. I got ahead of myself. What gives your life purpose? What gives your life purpose? You might put in parentheses there. I got a handful of texts about this, that when I said reasons come first, and if you have the reasons behind what drives you, you will be purposeful. I guarantee you'll be purposeful. Reasons will never fail you. So what are just a few of the reasons that you do what you do? What's driving you, pushing you? What is it that's making you do the things you're doing? Isn't that great to think about? Isn't that awesome to think about? What are the reasons that give my life purpose? What seems to be a reason that I would wake up early or go to bed early or work hard throughout the day, or take care of my health and be careful with what I put into my body, this beautiful temple that we each get to live in? What would you do differently if that was a different question in regards to the reasons? What are the reasons that you do it? Is it to grow old with your grandkids? Is it to be able to do something in that arena? I don't know. That's entirely up to you. All right. Next question. One of my favorites. What's important about money? Right? Just a simple question. What's important about it? You know what? You may have a one word, or you may have a paragraph or two, but what's important? Is it to help people, bless lives, be free, to be able to be with who you want, when you want, and to do what you want? I don't know. That's entirely for you to decide, but what's important to money about you? Next question. What's important about your health? What's important about it? Right? You set the intentions, but now let's ask a deeper question. Okay, I want to weigh this certain amount. I want to do this certain thing. Okay, but what's important about it? What's important about being healthy? What's important about being able to be on this planet, to be conscious, aware? Right? Don't we have a stewardship to protect ourselves? Yes, we all will move on. Yes, I get the fact that heaven may be waiting, whatever that is for you. But boy, you have a responsibility now to really treat yourself well, to be good to yourself, because you have so much to do and so many things to give and to offer, and the beauty of your soul and your spirit. What is it about your health that's important? What do you want your health to be? What's important about living to a certain age for you? What's important about the experiences that you have? Not only the experiences, but how you experience them has so much to do with our health. So what's important about your health? Next question. And these are ones all about the relationships of our lives. And I've said these before. You may say, well, George, you've talked about these. I've been on a coaching call when you've talked about them. I know, but you've never been on a coaching call when there's been a pandemic going on. That has not ever happened. So this is a time to say again, are we going to show up worse, the same, or better? That's entirely up to you. These are the questions that I use to get myself to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to set my intentions because I'm showing up better in life, right? It's important, right? Here's the questions of relationship. I want to give one that I'm going to add in here. How will you serve others today? How will you serve others today? How will you give back? We're talking about relationships and connection. One of the most beautiful things to the soul is the way in which if you bring joy to another person's life, there's no way that more joy doesn't come into your life. If there's a moment right now that you're feeling helpless, go get helpful. If you're feeling helpless, go get helpful. That's what will happen. That's the beauty of what will go on. Your life will feel more fulfilled, more peace, more joy. As you bring joy and happiness and peace to other people, it is inevitable that that is what exactly will happen for your life. That is the nature of the beast, the beauty of service and giving of our soul, our actions, our time, our money, our resources. That's the beauty of giving. Don't underestimate the magnitude of it and what it really represents for each one of us. All right. Okay. Next thing. And next question, all related to relationships. Here's the first question, or the next question on relationships. What type of relationship, right? What type of relationship do you want with yourself? Yourself. And who do you have to be? What type of relationship do you want with yourself? And who do you have to be? That's the beauty of a great question right there. We say, wait, a relationship with myself. Yeah, how do you want to relate to yourself? How do you want to love yourself? How do you want to care for yourself? And we say, well, wait a second. Look, it's the same overused metaphor of when the oxygen mask drops off of the plane and the oxygen or the cabin loses air pressure or air oxygen, and masks will automatically drop from the plane. And what do they say? Before you help your child, your infant, your grandmother, your best friend, your spouse, your partner next to you, put the oxygen mask on you first. You first. So how are you going to have a relationship with yourself? Who do you have to be in that relationship? Okay, same question, just different. What type of relationship do you want with God? What does that look like for you? This universe, your creator. What does that relationship look like? And who do you have to be in that relationship? Who do you have to be in that relationship? What a beautiful question, right? I recently heard last week, if God gave you life, what are you going to give back? If God gave you life, what are you going to give back? How will you serve? How will you help? How will you develop? How will you increase who you are? You've been given gifts, talents, possibilities. And I hope that you're using those resources to the absolute best of your ability. Next question, same question, just different people. What type of relationship do you want with your spouse/partner? Whatever that looks like to you. And who do you have to be? It's one thing to say that you want something out of someone else. It's one thing to even say you want something out of a relationship, but you got to be something, because you bring 50% of the 100% in that relationship. And yes, can you bring 100% of your 50%? No question that you can. No question that you can. So again, what type of relationship do you want? Who do you have to be in that relationship? All right, from a spouse or partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever that looks like for you. Next question, what type of relationship do you want with your children? Define that. Set the intentions, guys. This is about getting really clear on what those relationships look like. Some of you know are listening, oh, my relationship's great. Well, I'm not saying it's not, but could it get better? Could it get just a little bit better? Because look, if it's just going to stay the same, you're missing out on a great opportunity right now to elevate that relationship, to build on that relationship. So what type of relationship do you want with your children? Or if there's children that you have an impact and you want to have an impact in your life, or maybe it's a better question, what type of relationship do you want with children or upon children? Find the question that sets the intention for the young people. Guys, we have got such a stewardship to help elevate the young people. Come on, help them. They need you. They need your example. They need your good voice. They need your positive attitude. They need you. Right now, they need you more than ever before. Right? I mean, their examples are, rock stars and social media and reality TV. Come on. Look at the impact you could have. Look at the relationship. And then again, who do you have to be? Who do you have to be? in that relationship. All right. Okay. One last question, probably even throw another one or two more out there before we wrap up. Here we go. Last question in my usual questions, I guess I would say, and that is this. What will show you that your life is a success? Another way to say that is, how will you know your life was a success? You are on your deathbed. How will you know? Some of you I know the answer. Boom, I know the answer. Great, write it down. Can you expand upon it? There's more to it, right? If we know where we're going, if we know what our life is about, if we set the intentions, how great will life be, gang? It doesn't matter what pandemics come. It doesn't matter what crises come at you. You'll be there, and you'll be better through every single one of them. Not worse, not the same, better. Better. That's what I hope that you're finding from all of this craziness that we're dealing with, right? It gets to be better. Who wants to go back to life being exactly the same? What beautiful things, right, that could you take away from all the experiences that you've had over the last 30 or 40 days with the pandemic going full throttle? I bet you there's a lot. What a great question. What have I learned over the last 40 days? What have I learned over the last 30 days? What a question that would be to answer. There's a great question for you. I'm gonna write that one down to make sure I don't forget that. What have I learned? What have I learned? I got to write that one down, guys. Man, I'm gonna write that one in my journal. What have I learned? What have you learned? That's where you start setting the intentions. That's where you start moving your life in a positive direction of what have you learned not to do? What have I learned to do? What am I going to do more of? Gosh, those are great. That's what I'm talking about. If you can set the intention, everything comes. Everything that you want your life to be. So look, don't make it better than it is. Don't make it worse than it is. Just call it as it is. But what do you want your life to be? Let's set the clear vision, and then we're going to take action, and we're going to move towards that. Not crazily, a strong calm. A strong calm. That's what I want to see happen from you. All right, that's what I hope. That's my intentions for you. I want you to win this game. I want you to show up so much better in your relationships of your life, so much better in your health, and so much better in the economics and your career. That's what I want to have happen. Now, let me give you just a few other questions, and we're going to wrap up. We're going to take 3 more minutes. Question number 1. What in this business, what am I willing to do in this business? Pretty simple question. What am I willing to do in this business today? With everything, everyone's under different house rules, different government rules, different, lifestyle rules. But for you, what are you willing to do right now? What are you willing to do? All right. Second question, what I'm hoping is, how many people this week? It's Monday morning, gang. Monday morning. How many people will you contact? Now, I want to describe a contact for a minute. Question, how many people will you contact? Guys, this is about self-discovery. This is about self-confrontation. This is really, right? The question, like, not why is this happening? Gosh, what am I afraid of? Oh, wait, probably not much. We say, oh, no, there's, you know what? False expectations appearing real, the acronym of fear. Guys, most of the stuff that we fear is never going to happen. Never going to happen. There's 700,000 or 600,000 people that will die, or 1.34 million people this year that will die because of cardiovascular and cancer issues. There will be more suicides than this pandemic will ever kill in the US. That's the tragedy. So again, I go back to, then if you have a stewardship in this business, and this pandemic is really more of a blessing because life is happening for you, not to you. Life is happening for you, not to you. So if we live in an abundant universe and life is happening for you, for me, for you, well, if that's the case, then what are we going to do with it? What are we going to do? How are we going to act? How are we going to respond? See, it's our responses. Norman Vincent Peale and W. Clement Stone came up with this idea of E plus R equals O, events. There will always be events. There'll always be crises. There'll always be challenges. There'll always be trouble. Plus the R is the response equals the outcome. Guys, the only thing you can control right now is the way in which you respond. the way in which you act, the way in which you speak to yourself, speak to others, the things you do to yourself and to others. That's the control piece of this. And you got to take control, and you got to take it now. You've got to take it now. It's time to step forward and to grab and hold yourself, right? Hold on, center yourself, come from that gratitude. Okay, so next question. How many contacts? I said explain contacts. What are contacts? Anyone. I don't care whether it's an internet lead. I'm not worried whether it's a for sale by owner. I'm not worried whether it's an expired. I'm not worried whether it's any of those things. I just want to make sure whatever you're calling, however you're communicating, that you truly, truly are communicating just two basic questions. How are you doing? And how can I help you? Bob, it's George from Century 21, Bob. Hey, I'm just touching bases with you. How are you doing? How's your family? How are you? I'm doing great. How's the family? We're doing good. We're going stir crazy, blah, 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 blah. Great. Hey, I just want to touch bases with you and see, how can I help you? You may say, George, does that mean to every internet lead? Yes. Does that mean to every for sale banner? Yes. Does that mean to every expired listing? Yes. Does that mean to every cold call? Just listed, just sold? Yes. Does it mean to your sphere? Of course it does. Does it mean to your past clients? Of course. Your database, your centers of influence, anyone you know. How are you doing and how can I help? Oh, those are beautiful. Those are beautiful questions, because they're all about one thing. They're not about me and they're not about you. They're about them. How are they doing and how can you help? And when you feel helpless, if you go out and help, you're going to get it. And look, you guys know this, in today's market, today's world, this is about being a wise steward. This is about being a servant attitude. This is about, maybe they need help with just picking up some food. Maybe they have someone who they can't get a hold of. Maybe there's a challenge with a family member. Maybe they just need someone to talk to just for a moment, and you showed up. Maybe it was even a little bit of divine intervention that they picked up the call and they got to hear your counsel, your advice, your wisdom, your love, your kindness, your gentleness, that it's going to be okay. And you're here for them no matter what, no matter whether it's real estate or they just need someone to talk to. Guys, this is about being a human. This is about being a caring soul. This is about giving joy, love, light to humanity. And when you start to realize that it has nothing to do with selling real estate, you're going to sell so much real estate, you won't even know it hit you. You won't even know what happens when you come from that space. You think some of you have had success. You come from this space along with the success you've already had. Nothing will touch what you were and where you'll go. And here's the difference though. You're going to do so much more business, but you're going to be so much more fulfilled, meaning full of peace, happiness, and joy. And with that, guys, we're out of time, but I just want you to know again how grateful I am for those that have listened. Gosh, we've got a great crowd on here. We've got a handful on the Zoom. I know there's a ton on the Facebook Live. And if you missed this, you know that, or there was questions, or you want to rewatch this, I know Russ is going to craft this thing, put it back out, and you're going to be able to re-listen to it with the text and also on social media. I wish you strength, I wish you health, and I wish you prosperity. And I truly hope that you will take the time to set your intentions so that you know where you're going. Where are you going? That is the magical question of the day. That is the magical question of the day. If there's magic in a question, there's right there. Because once you know where you're going, the whole universe will conspire to help you, because we live in such an abundant one. So peace and love, truly love you guys to death. Grateful for everything you do. Keep up the great work. Stay strong. If there's anything I can do, I'm always here, and I will help in any way I can to help you, and to hopefully we together stand united, and we grow together, and we show up better when all of this is over, because of who we chose to become, what we intended to become through this process. So God bless you guys. Have a great day.